Satchel from Steel Panther. You're listening to Metal Stream Radio with Metal Matt, and he's totally naked from the waist down.
Hey guys, this is the Metal Matt Show, and we're back up and running. We've been gone for a few weeks, but we're back, and we're going to be here every week. 6 p.m. UK time, but you can listen anywhere around the world. That's the beauty of internet radio. So here we are, and you know how much I love doing this show. I love spreading the great heavy metal message out there to the people, and for the fans of heavy metal, you know, don't matter what kind of exact precise genre, be it black metal, classic metal, thrash metal, you know, the works, we do it all. So we play a lot of different kinds of metal, and we also have some very special guests. You know, we've had some messages from Satchel of Steel Panther in the past, Doug Aldrich, which we're going to get to a little later. We got some clips from my interview with Doug Aldrich. Obviously, you'll probably know him for his work with Ronnie James Dio and Whitesnake, and also the Dead Daisies, which he's doing these days, and they released an album recently, which I'm going to be talking with him in just a little bit, playing you a bit of that interview. So much cool stuff, and it is a bit of a Judas Priest special this week, because they're my favourite band, and I know a lot of you guys love Priest too, so I thought, well, let's play some real cool stuff. So I got a real mixture of songs, and some stuff I know you're going to love. If you're a fan, you're going to love it. If you don't listen to Priest that much, you're still going to love it, because I picked some really good stuff. So, I'm just super happy to be back with you guys. And, I just thought I'd run you down first on how it's all going. You know, it's been a pretty hectic couple of months. I live out in Mexico, obviously. I'm, out here, and I've had a few projects up and down, and the life of a musician can be pretty difficult, so you never know when the next gig's coming sometimes and things like that. And I had a gig a few weeks ago which was fun, out at a bar out here, just jamming a few songs, rock and metal. They know that that's my speciality, so they like to see me singing the kind of classics, a lot of the classic songs, and I chuck in a few originals as well. Of course, my Mexico song, if you don't know it, I've got a song called Mexico, and it was kind of a premonition of a song. It's kind of before I come out to Mexico, but I kind of predicted what it was going to be like, and Mexico kind of changed my life. So it's a song that's pretty close to my heart. It's a fun song, and it had a special guest on it, which was cool. Always great when you can get a guest on it, and it was someone I'd grew up loving his music, and particularly one song that was a big hit in the 80s. He was the singer Bronski Beat, John Foster. He goes by John Foster, and he had this song, Hit That Perfect Beat, in the 80s with Bronski Beat. So when Jimmy Somerville left, he came in and he had a hit as well, which I think is pretty rare when you lose the main singer in a band. And Jimmy's got such a distinct voice, obviously, with Small Town Boy, you probably know, and all that kind of stuff. John come in with a totally different vibe and a different voice, and still they had a number, I don't know what, number 3, number 2, number 1, I don't know, but it's huge song, and you'd know it. Hit That Perfect Beat. Beat boy, hit that perfect beat boy. It's not metal, but it was a great song. It was a great synth pop song. And he did some lovely harmonies on that song of mine, Mexico, some kind of backing vocal harmonies. So that was really cool. And then, I did some of my screaming, Holford-esque, King Diamond-y type vibe, or just Metal Matt, really, because, I scream a lot in my own stuff as well as other people's songs when I cover them. So it's just the typical Metal Matt scream stuff, but also there's a lot of melody and a lot of different variations. So maybe I'll play that one for you a little later. Mexico, I'll probably play a few originals of mine on this show, because I like to introduce you to some of the tracks, and some of them have got some special guests on and things, like I say, so it's always cool for you to hear from some of these cool people that I've been lucky enough to collaborate with. If you don't know much about me, because I've been gone a few weeks, and you might be just discovering the show now, well, I'm Metal Matt. I've been singing a long time now. I remember, though, I didn't used to like singing when I was about 16 or 17. Maybe even 18 is when I really started singing, because I think around 16 or so I was too shy to sing. I used to play guitar, and I wouldn't want to go near a microphone or perform in front of anyone. But somehow that changed somewhere along the way, and I started daring to sing and putting my songs out there. And it started off quite gothic with Matt Gothic, I used to go by, until Rob Holford gave me the nickname Metal Matt, and that stuck, you know. And KK and a few different people said, you know, you got to use that. That's, you know, a cool thing. Rob Holford gave you that name, and obviously he's always been my inspiration vocally. You know, starting out, I've kind of branched off and done a lot of different stuff, and I do a lot of my own songs, and you know, have my own unique stamp and sound on my own stuff. But I always love singing covers of Priest and Holford and all that stuff, and you know, I've kind of learned a lot from watching the way he sings, along with other heavy metal singers, you know, and I feel I've come to a good place now where I can do a mixture of things, you know. So yeah, that's how it all started. And I kind of, when I got the Metal Matt name, although my kind of natural music is a bit more dark and gothic and acoustic, I started to branch out to heavy metal a bit more, because I love heavy metal. That was always my main thing, but sometimes that doesn't mean that your own music is going to be that, you know. I kind of did whatever I felt at the beginning, and then I branched out to metal a bit more because that's what I love, and luckily people sort of branched out or reached out to me to collaborate with me, and that's how it all started. I had a few people reach out and say, oh, I can compose songs for you if you want, and different things, and still to this day I work with some of these people, and you know, I've been lucky enough to have that opportunity, that people recognise that I have got a classic kind of metal voice, I guess, and obviously as a lyricist, that's one of the most important aspects of being a musician and a singer for me, you know, is the lyrical aspect as well. I love writing songs. So yeah, sometimes I'll get some great music sent to me, or I'll tell my collaborators what I kind of am wanting, a melody maybe, or an idea, and I leave it to the kind of creative people who can compose, because that's not really my area. And then, you know, when I have this piece of music, I can put lyrics and vocals to it, no problem. So that's kind of how I work, and I've been lucky enough to evolve as a musician and do some really heavy metal songs. So I'll play a few tracks a bit later, so you can hear some of that and some of the special guests that are on there. But this show is more than that kind of thing. It's going to be, you know, a real mixture of tracks I'm going to be playing. And yeah, you can just strap yourselves in for a couple of hours now. I'm going to be here just celebrating heavy metal. So if you love metal, it's the place to be every week, 6 p.m. UK time, Friday and Saturdays. And yeah, I'm here for you guys. So I'm going to start off with, like I say, I interviewed Doug Aldrich, so I'm going to start off with that, where he's talking about his new album, which was a bit more of a blues direction. This is with the Dead Daisies. So here I am chatting with Doug. Hope you enjoy, guys. Catch you after the interview. It's not too long, this bit, but it's an interesting section of the interview I did. So yeah, have a listen, and yeah, we'll play some music after this one, so stay there. And yeah, you're going to love what Doug has to say anyway. I always find it interesting to get behind the creative process of these kind of these real legends in heavy metal. So yeah, Doug Aldrich, here we go. Hey guys, Metal Matt here, and I've got the amazing Doug Aldrich on the channel today. Formerly played with the likes of Whitesnake, Ronnie James Dio, but at the moment and currently since I think 2016 you've been with them, the Dead Daisies. Yeah, welcome to the channel. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it, bro. I'm happy to be here, and I appreciate what you're doing, keeping metal alive. We need it, right?
Definitely, that's what it's all about. So on that subject of keeping rock and metal alive, you're releasing a new album with the Dead Daisies, Looking for Trouble. So when's that one coming out?
That comes out May 30th, and we're really excited about it. It's a blues cover album, something a little different for us. And we're taking it. We took a bunch of classic blues songs and rocked them up a little bit, and put our own spin on them, and it's fun. It's a fun thing. We just knocked it out really quick. It was pretty much recorded live, so it's got that live feel to it, which is nice.
Definitely, yeah, no, I love that live, little bit raw, a little bit live. That's kind of what that bluesy kind of vibe is all about, and the energy of it, and capturing that kind of essence when you're playing. So that's really cool. And I was hearing somewhere that you kind of approached you're playing a little bit different on this album. I guess because it was more of a blues direction. Did you have to adapt your playing a little, or you tried some new things?
So basically, this album was just not even planned. It was we got into. I'll give you a quick story. I'll make it short. But we got into a situation where we wanted to go write some music for a new album, which was the last album, Light 'Em Up. And we decided, let's go somewhere new where we haven't been there before, and it's going to be inspiring to go there somewhere different. You know, different scenery is good when you're creating. It's really cool. Gives you a fresh perspective on stuff. Um, and so we went to the studio and started writing for Light 'Em Up. But then somewhere along the week that we were there, a week and a half, we started to dabble in these blues songs just for the fun of it. You know, we were set up to record demos and whatnot. Um, and but we started to dabble with, you know, we took the song Crossroads, for example, and we changed it up. We rocked it up a little in a little different way, a little bit more how like Led Zeppelin might approach it or something. You know, everybody's heard the Cream version. Everybody knows that it came, you know, Robert Johnson made the song famous. And so we just wanted to put our own spin on all these songs. So it's a group of songs with really a fresh take.
That's really cool. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's great to be able to bring those songs back and kind of put your own spin on it. And Crossroads is fantastic. Really, really good job. Yeah. Yeah. That was a
Thanks, man.
really cool one. What kind of pedals do you usually use and equipment? And did you use anything different to achieve the sound this time? Or did you kind of stick with what you know kind of thing?
I actually, if you see that guitar right there,
Yeah.
that's a 53 Les Paul that I got a couple of years ago. And I brought that because we were just going to be writing and doing demos, and I wanted to have a guitar that, you know, is inspiring for writing and stuff. But it's more of a blues guitar. It's weird, you know, that I brought that one. It's not as metal as some of the other Les Pauls that I have, and so that sound was pretty much perfect for that. And they had some small amps at the studio, which I used, a little bit more of a tighter sound, you know. And to answer your previous question again too, because you asked me about changing my style, I didn't really know what we were going to do. So once we started to dabble in these songs, I naturally changed my style a little bit just to make it more, you know, adapt to the song. Like, you don't want to hear, you know, so much like a shred type of solo. You want to hear more of a feel type of solo for this stuff. So yeah, I did at the last minute change my style. The sound is different. The whole thing has a different flavor to it.
I can't wait for it to drop. That'd be really cool to hear. And I've always heard a kind of bluesy kind of influence in your playing. I've always felt that's there, but I guess in this album you've really brought it to the forefront and kind of you know, tried some new things as well. So that's really cool. How many songs are on this album?
There's 10. We started off with like we talked about Crossroads, and we started to dabble around with Going Down, the Freddie King song, and then I forget what the order was. We got Born Under a Bad Sign going, and a few others, and we decided, you know what, this is really cool. We don't know what it's going to be, but let's just get, you know, let's get 10 songs down. So we ended up with at the last day we actually had 10 songs, but we took one. We went so far with some of these songs that we had basically a brand new bed of music that was original for us. So we decided that there was this one that turned out really cool. We ended up writing our own song called Take My Soul. It's the last song on the last album. And so we only had 9 songs. So then Karabi goes, well, let's just do a Sweet Home Chicago real quick. We knocked that out in like 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
You know? So we had 10 songs in there. And yeah, so there's a few songs people can check out online. There's Crossroads, and there's Boom Boom, and maybe I'm Ready is on there as well. I'm not sure if that's out again,
Right.
But definitely Crossroads and Boom Boom are out right now. You can check them out.
Awesome, yeah, lots to check out then. And were the whole band kind of on board with this idea? Is everyone kind of into that bluesy kind of stuff, or did some of them have to, adapt a bit and kind of, get used to something new? Was it a kind of mutual decision, or was it
Well,
kind
no, I mean, I'll tell you what, one that had to probably, I had to sweat the hardest because, like that's a whole different situation. And of course, I am blues based and I love, those songs. I love those musicians, but my influences are the next generation from those guys like Jimmy
of?
Page, Hendrix, and Jeff Beck, and all those guys. And then later, the heavy rock guys came out like Van Halen and Randy Rhoads and Tony Iommi. Well, Iommi was probably he was like one of the first guys. But those guys are all blues influenced, So I just had to tone it down a bit. But like you mentioned, the other guys, Michael Devin, he played with Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and he's just got a huge knowledge of blues music. In fact, I think he might have been the one that came up with the title. But and Karabi's got a perfect voice for this, and David Lowey's a simplistic, honest player. It's no bullshit, So it was me. I was the pressure, like like I want to do these songs justice, but we just did it live. So I did my best off the cuff, and then I thought, well, we'll probably go back and revisit them. But Marty Fredrickson, our producer, said, you guys captured a vibe down there, playing together, not thinking too much, just playing, having fun. It's cool. Let's just put it out. So that's what we're doing.
That's really cool. Yeah, sometimes it's good just to go with what happens. Sometimes it seems to happen for a reason, and yeah, it seems like it was
Right.
the right thing to do. And it's cool. You're bringing a bit of a rock edge to kind of blues and stuff. And I guess there's not many bands who've done that. I can only think Judas Priest did Johnny Be Good once, but there's not that many times it's happened. So it's quite cool to see a kind of a bit more of a blend of the two genres, heavy, making it a bit heavier and, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, if people listen to our version of Black Betty, that's a really good example. I mean, the original version the original version is by a guy called Leadbelly, and he wrote, it was just a vocal, and I don't know if you've ever heard that, but if you go on Spotify or something, you can listen to it, and it's just a vocal part that goes, "Oh, Black Betty," it's like it's like a work song.
Mm.
And then Ram Jam had their way with it, which is really killer, and that actually lends itself to a metal version, say. But we wanted to get it more. We wanted to rock up the thing, but we wanted to take it from the original version and go from there. And what we ended up with was like a little bit more of uh, it's like a ZZ Top version or something. And it's like, it's got this Texas kind of thing to it. Or somebody else mentioned another influence that it sounded like. But the bottom line is we took it really into a new direction, and it's like a good mesh of the Dead Daisies and the original version.
Oh, that's really cool. I think there's going to be a lot of fans anticipating this. It sounds like it's going to be really cool. And from the singles that have been released so far, yeah, it sounds great. And yeah, I can't wait
Thanks,
to
man.
hear the whole album and the whole live setting that you're talking about. Is that something completely new for the Dead Daisies? Is that something you don't usually do? Would you? Is it quite different? Have you ever done that before? Recorded in
Well,
that
we
way?
always record live together. That's one thing that I love about the Dead Daisies is we actually have the ability we have the means to go into a studio together and write together and record together, and that's been a thing that we've always done. But what we usually would do would be we'd go in and we'd record the basic tracks, and then we'd kind of go back and listen, and we'd fix parts or develop parts. Like it might be I might get through the tracking playing rhythm guitar and throwing down a little solo or something, but I know that I'm going to go back and redo the solo, so I don't worry about it. And maybe the rhythm part, I might go back and say, I love this part the way it feels, but this part here, I want to change it.
Mm.
And so we take it a step further with this Looking for Trouble album. It's live, It's like we recorded it live. The only thing I think maybe John had to go back and do some vocals because maybe he didn't have all the lyrics or whatever. We were moving really fast. I mean, literally, this record, I mean, literally, it was recorded in under a week. Probably more like 4 or 5 days total.
Wow.
And that includes John, fixing some vocals if he wanted to, or if Marty wanted him to, and that's it, man. Then Marty mixed it. It's so yeah, usually we always record live together, but then we would normally go back and revisit it. We didn't do that. We just kept it live.
That's really cool. Yeah, yeah, that's a great approach. And I guess although these are covers mainly, the sometimes that's quite a good thing to. I'm a songwriter myself and a singer, and when I do songs, I kind of I like to go with the first kind of thing mainly that comes to mind when I'm putting together the song, because I feel if you spend too much time, the song changes, and you kind of sometimes lose that original thing that made the song good, if you know what I mean.
That's right. That's right. You can also you can get in your own way and get too far away from the original beauty, the thing that was original. That's a good point that people should do, is always kind of try and find a way, whether you do it with your phone or on your computer, whatever. When you get a basic idea and you throw it down without thinking, or you sing it into your phone without thinking, there's something, a beauty about that you try not to lose that, when you're doing the song for real.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's that subconscious kind of thing. And it kind of resonates with people more than a thought that is too well thought out. Because you can kind of think, oh, people are going to love this, and then you kind of spend too much time critiquing it, and they probably won't. I think most people are drawn to something quite organic, and the first thought that comes to mind is often the thing that's gonna resonate more than when you kind of change things too much. Nothing good really comes out of overthinking. Sometimes you got to just
That's right.
Go for it.
That's
Kind of
absolutely right, man. That's our biggest enemy, is overthinking.
Absolutely.
It's interesting story is I used to do a lot of sessions where the producer would say, like, okay, just do the rhythm track, then put a solo down, and I would put a solo down. And he'd be like, "That's great, man." I'd do it like 3 times, and the third one he'd be like, "Ah, that's amazing." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Let me listen to that, and I'll see what I like and see what we can grab from that." And he'd be like, "No, that's it, man. That's the solo. That's like, listen to it. Listen, Doug, listen to it." And I'd be like, "It's okay, it's good." And I would be, "Let me have another pass." And I have to, once you throw down something, it was off the cuff and it's got a beauty to it. I know that if I spend the time that I have to learn it, and then I have to practice it, and then I have to own it. And eventually I can forget and play it with all those aspects, and it'll sound fresh again. But it takes a minute.
Yeah.
And the producer he was like, "No, everything you're playing sounds contrived. It sounds like you're trying." And I'm like, "No, I get it. That's what happens. It takes, you gotta start and get the full circle happening." Eventually, in a situation with a session, it's better to just go, "You know what? You're right. The original one's the best one. Just go with it." But if you have your own, if it's up to you and you have the opportunity to go through it and do that, then you can, and you can just don't lose the vibe that you got on that first one. People like guitar players like, I'm sure you've heard of Eric Johnson. He's not a metal guitar player, but he's a brilliant guitar player.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that is known for really working his parts out. He'll get the idea, and then he'll tweak it, and I love that. He'll take it, he'll keep the original vibe, but he'll work through it all the way till it's fresh again. And there's a couple times with Whitesnake I had that situation where I had ultimate open amount of time. I could have took 3 weeks or a month or whatever to work on a solo. And so you find yourself going, "Well, I'm not sure that melody, is that the best way to start it? Or should I start with some fire and then go break into the melody?" And I have to try these things. And then you figure out, I think that's the best way. Maybe I change the end of it. And then eventually it's like it does become, something that it never would have had you not taken the time to do that. But there is a beauty to the first notes that you play. There's something beautiful about it. And
Yeah.
that's definitely what's on Looking for Trouble.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Keep rocking. Thanks, man. Thanks for
All
your
right,
time.
brother.
And there we have some really interesting talk there with Doug Aldrich about his Looking for Trouble album with the Dead Daisies. Great album. Be sure to check it out. It's cool when heavy metal kind of goes back to where it all started. Obviously there's a lot of blues influence in bands like Black Sabbath, Judas Priest. It all kind of started with the blues. I think all kind of rock and roll come from that originally. So it's great to see how things develop and evolve and go different directions. And I think Doug's kind of playing his dues to the classic kind of the classic bands and songs that are kind of made rock and roll and heavy metal what they are today. Without it may not have ever come at all. There are a lot of these riffs. Even bands like Venom, you can hear a bit of that bluesy kind of influence. A lot of kind of blues kind of influence, jazzy, bluesy kind of rock and roll riffs. Even in a band like Venom, which are black metal. Mantis has said that himself. He's another one I've interviewed. He's a real legend. I love his guitar sound, and really interesting guy. So he's another one. Which, if you stay tuned on Metal Stream Radio every week, Friday and Saturday, I'll be playing lots of interviews like that. So stay tuned. And as I said, we got a bit of a Judas Priest special. So next up, for you guys, just to rock out for a little bit, I've got a bit of Genocide by Judas Priest, but it's the Unleashed in the East version, which I know a lot of you fans love that album. It's a great live album, although it's kind of live from the studio. I think a lot of fans have since realised this. Rob's voice was kind of overdubbed because he was sick or something when they originally recorded his voice, but all the music's live supposedly, and Rob's kind of live as well, but separate in the studio, Unleashed in the studio kind of thing. But it's a fantastic album though, and it's kind of Rob at his peak. So have a listen to this with Genocide.
sing. I have healed. Yet the wounds I bear are the wounds of love.
Frantic madness is red and fleeing time, lost in cold reflection, waiting for the sign. Generation tremble, clinging face to face. Hopeless situation to end the perfect race. Slashing sands, slash sabers, cut us to the ground. Eager for the lifeblood of all can be found. Save me, heart of a word. Help me now, crushing of pride. Save me, my people are dead. Don't get sad. Slice to the left, slice to the right. Back to Italian knuckle fight. To make the house, to the lights. This is the part of no one will talk about. Heads to feet, feet to the air, soul to the soul, heavy to swear. End of all ends, spread to the dust. Symptoms for an extinction. It's a murder.
And there we have a bit of Genocide, the Unleashed in the East version from Judas Priest. I think the original song, the original version, is a lot slower for one, and it is on the Sad Wings of Destiny album, I believe, which was Judas Priest's second album. Their first album was Rock-A-Roller, which was kind of a weird album. It's got some great tracks on it, but even that one, you can hear the blues influence actually a lot more. So if you're into that kind of thing, it's probably a good album for you, you know. I think a lot of the heavy metal fans kind of, the peak of Priest, I guess, is like this kind of Unleashed in the East, Screaming for Vengeance, Defenders of the Faith, British Steel, of course, you know, that whole period, 80s, I guess, is where they really reached their peak. But every album had great songs, you know, so many great songs on Sad Wings of Destiny. By their second album, they'd had just so much kind of evolution, I'd say, you know. Every song was good, you know, and kind of had a unique stamp, you know. It had the great, you could hear the workings of the guitar duo of Glenn and KK, which was kind of a new thing as well, having that guitar battle almost, you know, where they're working off each other. Not even a battle, really, just complementing each other so perfectly with their different styles and techniques. Oh, there's people running by. It's a bit late now. I'm recording this one late right here, but people are still out and about by the sounds of it. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, so the Sad Wings Destiny was a great kind of a progression from rock and roll, and then from that point onward, you know, they evolved and evolved and evolved, you know, sin after sin, you know, it started to get heavier, you know, and, you know, every album was just great, because it's what I love with Priest is they do a lot of different things. They're not just stuck on one sound and one style, you know. So yeah, that's why I love that band so much. Yeah. And on that note, I thought I'd play a track. This is a cover now. Has this Judas Priest theme this week, a bit of a theme special kind of thing. I'll play a version of Devil's Child off the Screaming for Vengeance album, which I did with J.J. Brown, who actually played with Rob Halford in the Fight band. He was the bass player, and he did these great backing growls, because they were a very heavy band, you know, pretty much thrash metal kind of vibe. So he was doing these great kind of growly vocals alongside Rob, and he was a huge part of their sound. So he's kind of brought that to this song, which is great. This version of Devil's Child. So we got JJ on bass and doing some backing growls, and we've got his friend Bob Terrell, who's a very famous tattoo artist. In fact, they both are. But yeah, Bob, you might know for his, I think he does like black and white type work on his tattooing style. Yeah, it's very unique, and JJ's got an awesome style. That's how Rob Halford met him. I believe he was tattooing Rob out in Phoenix, and that was it. He got the job, you know, along with his friend who played guitar as well, Brian Tills. I think they were in a band before Fight. And then Russ Parrish joined the band, which I think was Jeff Martin of Racer X's idea or suggestion. They were all connected during this period, you know. Jeff Martin and Racer X, Rob Halford was supporting them a lot as a band. And I learnt today, actually, there's a song called Heart of a Lion, which I love, which was, I think it was from the Turbo sessions, and it never got released on the album, even though it probably would have been one of Judas Priest's biggest hits. It's such a great song. You can hear the demo kind of version out there on YouTube and things, but it never got released or even recorded properly by Judas Priest, and he gifted it to Jeff Martin, I was reading, for Racer X. So they are the first ones to officially release it. And then Halford, later on in his career with Halford Band, he did Heart of a Lion on the Live Insurrection live CD, which I think might be another one of those Unleashed in the Studio jobs, but is a great version. I mean, it may not be, I'm only guessing, because it's so perfect, the vocal and everything, and it sounds like the production on it's amazing, but maybe that's just how good they can do it these days, you know, with the once you've got all the mix from the show, maybe you can play around with it as if it was done in the studio kind of thing. So I don't know, but it's perfect, basically. It's a perfect live album, Live Insurrection by Halford. And yeah, he did a great version of Heart of a Lion there, and he performed it a few times live with that band. No food now, come on. My cats are going crazy tonight. But yeah, so that was great. I've lost my train of thought with these cats. Right, where was I? So, yeah, Heart of a Lion, Racer X released it, Rob released it with Halford, And as I say, Jeff Martin from Racer X, the singer, he was good friends with Rob, and Rob was very supportive of his band. So he suggested Russ Parrish, which ended up being Satchel in Steel Panther, and he's a good friend of mine. He's a great guy. He's one of these kind of true rock stars, you know, and he's not egotistic like a lot, you know. He's very down to earth, and yeah, we've hung out a few times, and I've sang with him in Steel Panther. I sang a fight song actually, which was great because it was the first time he's done it in years since Fight, and also it was the first time doing it acoustic. It was Into the Pit. We did a song, a cover of Into the Pit acoustic, this acoustic thing they were doing before their actual show. They were doing this acoustic thing in Bristol, and I got to sing with the legendary Steel Panther and Satchel, who played on all this great stuff, and that's how that all started. So Russ Parrish joined Fight, and then you also had Scott Travis on drums, which followed over from Judas Priest. He was the kind of new drummer in Judas Priest, and then Rob left Judas Priest, and Scott kind of followed on with Fight, and also Scott was with Priest while Rob was away from Priest as well. He was still with Priest when the Tim Ripper Owens joined the band for I think like 10 years or something while Rob was away, quite a long period. So yeah, they did a lot of stuff together, and it was really cool period, and Priest did some cool stuff with Ripper Owens, Rob did some great stuff with Fight, and it was just a great period for heavy metal and for music in general. So this is a cover, like I say, with JJ, the bass player, me on vocals, Metal Matt, and Bob Terrell on guitar, and we did this kind of virtual cover of Devil's Child, so I hope you enjoy it. Here we go.
Got a little song for you now called The Devil's Child. Let's go! Drinking
Devil's Child. Hope you enjoyed that one. That's me, Metal Matt, on vocals, and it's an honour to have JJ there doing the backing vocals. JJ Brown of Fight, and Bob did a fantastic job. Bob Terrell on the guitars there, amazing solo. Really impressive stuff. So and now we've got another song now, King Diamond, Black Horseman. I think you'll know it. Obviously, King's albums are quite, like a story kind of thing, so this is just a part of the story kind of thing. It's a fantastic track, and once again, an honour working on that version of Devil's Child. Loved the opportunity to work with JJ. He's such a great talent. I love his kind of heavy metal vocals. I think he brought a lot to Fight. He was such a big character in that band. He kind of brought that energy, and those great heavy vocals. I think without JJ, it wouldn't have quite been as heavy. He really took it to a great place with Rob, and it was the right band. The whole band was fantastic for what Rob was doing at that time, doing his solo stuff. And Fight were amazing. I love them. I listen to them a lot. So on that note, here we have something different. Not on that note, I guess. King Diamond, like I said. So this is Black Horseman, and check it out. I'm sure you know it, but rock out with me to the Black Horseman now, and we got more coming. We got another hour coming up, so stick with us. We got some more from Doug Aldrich coming up in the second hour. So stay tuned. Lots more cool stuff to come.
So there they stood at the top of the stairs, Miriam in the mood, Jonathan was scared. Gazing into the dark, Jonathan saw the and she was there like a ghost. She pushed him hard and clean to the bottom of the stairs. To the bottom of the stairs. Now we're finally alone, Miriam. Abigail
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate that. Much gracias. Right. Again, mi nombre es Metal Man, and this is the Silver Bullets. So yeah, we got some more Sabbath on the way now.
Ahora quiero pedirles un gran aplauso para nuestro bajista Alejandro Núñez.
Bicho here to rock.